Top Gun for the Nintendo Entertainment System is a 1987 video game by Konami based on the 1986 motion picture of the same name. I guess I don't know, I've never seen a damn movie. Never got the chance. Was too busy watching Rambo. Or was it Predator? Who knows? Who cares? Anyways, you fly an aeroplane through 4 missions. Mission 1's a training mission, Mission 2 has you destroying a battleship, Mission 3 has you destroying a base, and the final mission involves destroying a space shuttle for some reason. So here's what happens in Top Gun. When you start your mission, you can choose from 3 missile types for your payload. You can carry 40 of the weaker missiles, 10 of the more powerful missiles, and 20 of the middle missiles. It only takes 1 shot of gunfire to shoot down the plane, so you'll mainly use missiles for taking out battleships and other ground targets. Aside from that, you fly around, you shoot down other aeroplanes, dodging or destroying missiles that look like cannonballs, and occasionally attempt to refuel your jet. It's lots and lots of fun. I suppose, I don't know. Each mission is pretty much the same thing, with all but the first mission having you fly towards your main target that you'll have to destroy, the aforementioned battleship, ground base, and space shuttle things. At the end of each mission, your plane will begin its descent towards your base carrier, thus initiating landing procedures in one of Top Gun's more infamous moments. Landing the plane is something you have to do by following the on-screen instructions, which usually involve using the directional pad to control your jet's flight, as well as the face buttons to control the speed of your craft. Landing the plane is probably one of the more frustrating moments in Top Gun, frustration that is clearly illustrated by this nerd fellow here. But this is due more to the fact that the guy's a complete moron who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I know the feeling. I've been there. All too often. It's a sad feeling. But once you've stopped being a complete idiot and educate yourself on the controls, you eventually get the hang of this plane landing business and earn yourself a cool 10,000 points for your efforts rather than losing your plane and a life. Of course, it's still a bit of a struggle that's often hit or miss, don't get me wrong. But on the bright side though, just be glad the game doesn't force you to lift off at the beginning of each mission, because I'm sure that would have caused some nightmares. Certainly was a case when an old Atari 7800 game I played many moons ago called F-18 Hornet, another flight simulator type of game, but I digress. On a purely technical level, Top Gun is a fairly sufficient attempt at a flight simulator on the NES, but that's about it. You can fly up and down, shoot missiles, shoot guns, you have radar to track targets and stuff, your controlling is fairly well. The sequences where you have to land the plane or hook up with the refueling jet seem like nice touches even if they seem frustrating at first, but that's about it. It could work if more was happening, but the missions are clearly bits of flying around in between brief rounds of planes flying past you or at you, or maybe you'll come across ground targets or something. After a while, Top Gun does get tiresome rather quickly. Perhaps the overall tedium of Top Gun is one of its deadliest weapons, dulling your senses enough that you won't be able to outfly that instant kill cannonball or gunfire or whatever that could possibly kill you in this game. Visually speaking, Top Gun is fairly average stuff. The cockpit has a whole bunch of little details here and there and it looks decent enough that it isn't much of an eyesore, but other than that, the only constant in the universe and your line of sight is the sky and whatever surface is underneath, whether it be clouds, land, sea, or whatever. The enemy planes and various other bits such as battleships and whatnots are distinguishable enough, you can make them out for the most part. Not much else to say in this regard, it's just average looking at best. Now, one word does come to mind when describing the sound of Top Gun: minimal. Aside from adequate 8-bit renditions of the Top Gun theme and Danger Zone and a couple other jingles, the majority of the game is played with this constant droning that's supposed to be your plane's engine. The rest of the sound effects are not even worth mentioning, they're just barely there, and that's all I gotta say in that regard. Overall, Top Gun's a competent combat simulator on the NES, but also not a very exciting one. You'll play a round or two, spend a few minutes on it, set it back down, and move on to something else. That's about the most you're going to get out of Top Gun. Feeds you enough game to keep your mind busy for a short bit, but loses its luster rather quickly if that's even the right word. I suppose you could find a copy for cheap if you look hard enough, but I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. You're not really missing much here.